Hello everyone, Cherries Red Army, and welcome to our final, probably live stream of 2021 and our final match preview as Bournemouth prepare to take on Cardiff at home tomorrow evening, 7:45 at the Vitality Stadium. If you're able to join us live, please do interact throughout the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. If you weren't able to join us live, no problem. Please enjoy the video, hit the like button, and also let us know your thoughts in the comment. If you're new to the channel, also subscribe. We are this close to 750. It is a target we try to set ourselves by the end of 2021. I think we're 16 off. So if you are subscribed, thank you very much. If not, let any Bournemouth fan that you know who enjoys Bournemouth, enjoys YouTube, let them know. Let's get subscribing. And we want to get your thoughts throughout the show. But we got back to winning ways, didn't we? On the Boxing Day +1 at QPR, that 1-0 win. We're going to go over it in this match preview, and it's time to get some Cherries Red Army team members on to help me. Let's do this match preview. And who have we got this afternoon then? It's Mr. Away Day himself, Steve Hensman, in his black and green Bournemouth shirt. How you doing?
I'm very well, mate. Lovely to see you all. Hope you had a good Christmas.
Excellent. Great to see you. And he's not an easy man to pin down. He's a busy man, this guy. He's doing this stuff on YouTube and Sky Sports, but it's great to have him in the final live stream of 2021 on Cherries Red Army. Dan, aka Juron, how are you?
I'm very good. Yeah, it's been too long. But yeah, good to see you all. And as Steve said, hope you all had a good Christmas.
Definitely has. And let's see who's joining us live interactively in the chat. We've got Chris Hubble from the North Stand. How you doing, Chris? We've also got Sammy. She's not working at the moment, so she's able to join us on this live stream. How you doing? One of our channel supporter members, Mike Irwin. How are you? Good morning. Good afternoon. And we've also got Mark Cole, always here for the Cherries Red Army. How are you doing, Mark? We've got Layla Gladstone. And we've got Daniel from the States as well. He was with us on that watch along that we had against QPR. And that's where we're going to start, guys. We're going to start with that last result. We got back to winning ways at the 7th attempt. I'm going to come to you first, Dan, because it looked like for the first 15 minutes against QPR, it's going to be another slow start. We were chasing the ball. We were losing from a percentage point of view on possession. But then our counter-attacking game started to come into full flow. Dom Solanke will probably say in the 29th minute he should have scored, but 10 minutes later he cleared that from his head. A quality cross from Junior Stanislas from a dead ball free kick, and he meant it, Dom Solanke, that header. He's the GOAT. You're his biggest fan, and he scored that goal that won us the game.
Yeah, it really was a slow start. It was weird. I thought that it was almost like a matter of like a switch of a button. I thought suddenly we sort of sparked into life. It seemed quite slow. I didn't think we had a shot in the first sort of 15, 20 minutes. And then yeah, there was one part of the game Dom Solanke was personally. I know that Jeff Lowe had a great game. Personally, Dom Solanke was my man of the match. Some of the runs that he was making, it's like you can tell why Scott Parker gives him so much praise for running his socks off every single game. There was one situation in the game, I think it was from our defence. We were under a lot of pressure, boots it up. Solanke kind of flicks it around the midfielder or whoever it was for QPR, and then makes a whole run to the other side of the pitch and creates a chance at our end. And stuff like that is like why I think he's one of our, if not our most important player. But yeah, it was an improvement. We're still missing a lot of opportunities. How many open goals do we want to miss? Got Solanke's, and what was the other one? Oh, Jaden Anthony. Yeah. And then obviously in the against Middlesbrough, or was it Christie missing an open goal? And you could argue Dom's header was an open goal. But back to winning ways, and hopefully we can kick on from this.
Steve, there were changes in that lineup for QPR. It's not a place that I said on the watch along that we notoriously do well at. There was no Lloyd Kelly, so then we thought we'd see Steve Cook. Nope. Chris Mepham came in. Would he play the left side of the two centre backs? But he ended up playing the right side. Gary Cahill was captain, and we joke a lot about Junior Stanislas, don't we? He hasn't started since August, but he was the one getting on the ball early on. He was the one that had the first shot on target. And what he does give us is that ability to deliver a decent cross. And I've said all along, we haven't scored dead ball free kicks yet, but it was his cross, his quality that enabled Dom Solanke to get on the end of it.
Yeah, and I think we've only had one. We've only scored one from outside the box all season, haven't we? And that was Billing against Cardiff. So yeah, I mean, Stan coming in. I mean, we were a bit reluctant of whether the partnership would work with him and Zamora down that left-hand side. But what you get from Stan is a lot of composure. He won't just make silly passes. All his passes are neat and tidy, and they are. And I mean, he created the chance for Dom's header, didn't he? It was his little ball inside to Billing, or down the line to Billing. Billing sticks across in, and really Dom should be scoring that. But going back to the defence, I think I think that was actually the right thing to do. Bring Meps in and play him on his preferred side, and put Gary Cahill over to the left, because Gary Cahill's played there quite a lot for Chelsea during his career, so it's not a foreign position to him. And having the captain's armband, I thought he steadied the ship quite nicely. I thought we looked really solid defensively. I didn't think we really let them in at all until right towards the end. I think we were pretty comfortable most of the game. So actually, to give Scotty Parker a bit of praise, because I've been a bit negative towards him of late, I think that was the right thing to do, put Meps in there. And I think Meps had a really good game, actually. I thought he was solid, didn't put a foot wrong.
He did, and Meps does have a good game in him. I've said that. We just want to see it more regularly. It seems to be that when Meps makes a mistake, he's then whipped out the team and he doesn't enable himself to get that confidence. Mark also said on that watch along that we played better under the lights than we do at 12:30, and he was right. And again, we're under the lights tomorrow night. We can't move on, though, from QPR down without talking about a certain Jeff Lerma, someone that we've missed for those previous two games. He was in his natural position, a position that I feel is his best position. That's the holding midfielder role. He was immense. And when we didn't put those open goal chances away, like you spoke about, we knew we were going to be dropping deeper and deeper in those last 10 minutes. Haven't we seen it many times this season? Mark Travers got a hand onto a cross from the QPR wide player, and then Jeff Lerma threw his whole body at the rebound and almost saved us. Well, did save us the 3 points.
Yeah, one of our, I think him, I was speaking to my dad, I think him and Solanke are our most important players, in my opinion. I think that you really, I don't know if you realise so much when, obviously, I mean, he's been suspended for quite a bit this season, but when he isn't in the team, how much it doesn't look quite right. You need that player that is going to clean up everything and is going to be a bit of a shit house, and he is going to, piss off the opposition. And that's exactly what you get with Jeff Lerma. He's going to run his socks off, and he's a quality player. I mean, I think that if we don't go up this season, I'm surprised that he is still with us this season. I thought he might have gone, but it's good that he's still a Bournemouth player. But he's Premier League quality, and I think it's just having that experience right in that holding midfield role. And I think Pearson is a great player, and especially in that holding midfield as well. But he's just not quite at the level of Jeff Lerma, and his distribution of the ball up and down the pitch. But yeah, incredible to see him put another great performance in.
I think he brings some comfort to the rest of the midfield as well. I think Lewis Cook looked so much more settled with Jeff beside him, and also Billing. I thought Billing, that midfield three looked so much more comfortable with Jeff in there, and it just breeds confidence around the team. And I just thought we grew and grew into the game, and there was only ever going to be one winner of that game, in my opinion, in the end of it. And I think that's down to what Jeff brings you.
Mark says, I fear for keeping Lerma in January. We're going to bring you some transfer shows throughout January, but I'm confident Lerma will stay. He loves Bournemouth, and I think he'll give us till the end of May. And I think there'll be a few shout outs for some other players. So yeah, make sure you follow us on Cherries Red Army. We'll definitely have transfer talk in January. final analysis coming on the QPR then, we spoke about Jeff Lerma. Sam has said, Steve, good analysis, Steve. Why can't you ever do this on the vlogs?
I'm too drunk usually, that's why.
Absolutely. We've got to put a little shout out as well. I didn't really recognise it on the watch along right at the end. We went into 98 minutes. It was only meant to be +5. Ben Pearson came on the pitch very late. And when that scuffle went in, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I watched it back in the replay, Steve,
Yeah.
and he just
He went
wanted a
steaming
piece
in.
of it. It's almost like he just said, oh, I've only come on for 4 minutes, but I'm not missing out on this. It was hilarious if you watch it back.
Yeah, I have seen it back, and he does go. I mean, it doesn't take him long to get straight in there amongst it, and he's literally got about 3 QPR blokes pulling him out of the way because he's just. It's like a, what is it? It's like a Tasmanian devil, isn't it? The old Taz character. He just goes whirring in there, and you just got to love that from him. So I mean, yeah, I do love a bit of a scuffle, but that was quite comical. And I mean, actually, people questioned Pearson's. There was that little story about him going out with the boys from Preston a few weeks back and questioning his loyalty. But I thought at the end of the game, he was so pumped that we'd got that win, even though he'd only been on the pitch for 5 minutes. I mean, it's great to see, to be honest.
But we did get the win. I'm sure Scott Parker and Steve Fletcher will be sitting back and reflecting and know that we should have maybe scored 2 or 3 goals. But as one unit, as a team, we were in it. And we've seen that before this season, probably against QPR at Dean Court, where we hung on there as well. So it was good to see. But we need to look at the opposition. It's the second time we're playing them this season, and that is it's Cardiff City. Nearly said it was the wrong team then. Still can't get over our last win. But let's take a look at Cardiff City then, Dan. They've had 2 managers now. Firstly, it was Mick McCarthy, but he had a terrible time of it and he was released of his duties, and now Steve Morrison's come in. Cardiff City's last 6 games, though, does track back to the 6th of November. That's a 2-1 home win versus Huddersfield, a 2-1 away win versus Preston, then a 1-0 loss at home to Hull City, a 2-1 away win versus Luton, 3-2 loss at home Sheffield United, and then their last game is 2-2 draw away at Birmingham. Now, I said I was clinging on some hope in that last game against QPR, Dan, saying that maybe what will go in our favour is they haven't played for 3 weeks. This is a similar thing again. Cardiff City have been struck down with COVID, and they're also potentially going to be rusty and cold. And at home, is this really an opportunity to get back-to-back wins?
Yeah, but I think the perfect opportunity. I think if you look on paper, our next 5 games, these are all winnable. I mean, no game is easy in the Championship, but you look at it and you think probably from the next 5 we should be getting at least 12 points. I think you could say maybe we could afford to drop 3, but I think there should be 4 wins there. Cardiff obviously had a stinking start to the season. I think in the first 3 or 4 games they were up table, and then they went flying down the table and have been struggling. Obviously got a new manager now. I didn't actually know that, but they have. And yeah, I think that, like you say, the COVID break is, yes, you could argue, oh yeah, they're going to be fresh. But we often play really well after an international break. But I think it was one of those, which is why I thought it was so important, that QPR game. I think if we had drawn that game, and given a goal away, it kind of would have, I don't know, I would have been feeling a lot more pessimistic about this game. I think that's a real, hopefully, a change now, and we can kick on from that. And I think that was such an important win. And yeah, we should be beating Cardiff anyway. We have more than enough quality to beat them. And yeah, they're one of the sides that are struggling against relegation. I think they probably will be fine. But yeah, it should be 3 points.
Layla has some Bluebirds fans in her family by the looks of it, so she's definitely going to want to get one over them. And Sammy's also, make sure you like this. Let's get as many likes as we can on this match preview. Now, looking at the goals then, Steve, they've only scored 25 goals this season. That's 9 goal scorers making that up with 9% conversion rate. We've only conceded 3 goals in the first half of Championship games, but someone we are going to need to be aware of is Kiefer Moore. It's someone that scored goals for him previously in previous seasons. He's got 5 this season. I don't know the whole stat yet. Actually, out of the 29 goals, they've scored 18 headed goals. Does that concern you?
Probably not as much as it would have done, say, the last few seasons. I think we've been totally different prospect defensively from set pieces this season. I think the addition of Gary Cahill, just you know what you're going to get from Gary Cahill. He's a rock in there. He wins quite a lot of headers, aerial duels, and Lloyd Kelly's really stepped up. I mean, I know we might miss him this next game because I'm not sure what the situation is with him. But even you've got Meps, who's his compatriot, Welsh compatriot. He will know him well, so you'd like to think he will be able to do a job on Kiefer Moore because he is going to be their biggest threat. I think he's only has he got 5 this season, something like that, 5 or 6, and I think they've suffered with a bit of the delivery to him. I mean, they had the likes of Harry Wilson before, didn't they? Putting balls in. I think they had Junior Hoylett on the other side. They're decent deliverers of the ball, and they suffered a little bit with that this season. I think. They haven't had that delivery there. So I think I'm not so concerned about him. He obviously is their main threat, but I think we've got enough to cope with him.
And interestingly as well, Dan, they've only scored 2 goals in the first half. They've conceded 14 goals against the top 6 sides currently in the playoffs and the automatic positions. I think the only decent result they've got is against Huddersfield. But when you think it's all going to be very well placed for Bournemouth, they're sitting 20th at the moment. And if we look at teams that we've struggled against this season, they've been against teams that are in the relegation zone and down the bottom of the league. And Mark's also said a low block side we seem to struggle against.
No, that is a bit of a weird thing. It's a bit of a worry. But I don't know why it is we seem to perform significantly better against the teams around us. I don't know whether the players are more up for it. They sort of look at the games that we can easily. I don't know. It seems like that wouldn't be the attitude, but I don't know. It is what was it? Hull. We didn't get a result. We couldn't break them down. 0-0. Peterborough. We couldn't get a result. Couldn't break them down at all. And you wouldn't maybe because a lot of these teams will be going to these games thinking, okay, we're going to sit back. We're going to take a draw here. We're going to make it difficult to break down. If we happen to get an opportunity, like you say, from a corner, a set piece on the counter attack, we'll take it, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to break down. What was it? 1-0 we beat them.
Billing.
Billing. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I wouldn't bet on it being high scoring, if I'm honest. I think that it probably is going to be a sort of a 1-0, possibly a 2-0. But yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a difficult game. But at home with the win, everything is in our favour. We've got the best opportunity of winning. Obviously, Kelly's not being there, but Meps had a great game, so we should be good defensively.
Yeah, we're not sure what the presser is yet because I think it's actually happening right now. So we'll find out in a few hours' time. But Steve, when they spoke to Scott Parker after the game, he was happy to see Dom just proving those doubters right. He's getting close to that 20-goal marker. But also, I'm sure you were happy on this occasion, being on that away day again, that you were happy to see us trying to go for the second, even though we didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it 2 or 3 games now. We've been in the lead and then we've sat back. Fulham was a prime example. I mean, why on earth we went so deep so early on in the game and had tried to defend against top of the league or really good side for half an hour was beyond me. But whether it was a case of he had no choice because we didn't have any defenders on the bench as such. I know we had Pearson there, but he sort of made man for man substitutions against QPR and it worked, and we were kept on the front foot. And it's a simple thing. If they don't have the ball, we have the ball. They can't score. I mean, that to me is quite common sense. So that's the way it played out. And we could have put that game to bed 3-0. I mean, if we'd taken those chances, it could have been a lot different, a lot more comfortable. But as it was 1-0, and we had a little bit of a scare at the end. But I think if Scott decides to stick to that sort of game plan now and not sit back with a 1-0 lead, like I said, I think I'd rather us concede playing like that and trying to go and put the game to bed than just hanging on against some of these teams that we know we're better than. And I mean, possession of the ball. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I think Bournemouth fans would appreciate that. I said it on the watch along. I mean, I went for a 1-1, but I said if we go for it, trying to go for the second, and we know we should have scored more goals. But I think Bournemouth fans, it's in our DNA. I think we won't mind drawing games if we have a go. It's when we then go after 60, 65 minutes, we take attacking players off, we put defensive players on, and we just try and see it out. It's just not.
I mean,
in our DNA.
I can understand it if it's like the last 5 minutes. I can get that, or last 10, 5-10 minutes. That to me is fine. But if you're doing it like half an hour to go, I think that's madness, and you're just inviting, the inevitable, really. So it was good to see against QPR, and I hope we push forward with that sort of tactic. And going back to the low block sort of thing, I mean, this is where I think Scott needs to sort of earn his money a little bit, because if you banging the same drum and trying to do the same thing against a low block and it's not working, then you need to change it up a little bit. Invite them onto us a little bit. Let them have the ball and see what happens, and try and hit them. I mean, do something. Don't just keep doing, definition of madness, trying the same thing, getting the same results all the time. It just seems silly. But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, like Dan said, I think we've got everything's in our favour this game. They've had a break. We've had a win. We've got back, a bit of our mojo back. So, and I think, like Dan says, these next sort of 4-5 games, we should be winning all of these.
Aaron's also joined in. He said, I'm late to the party. What a beautiful sight, you three faces. He's working hard today, but we'll see Aaron on plenty more Cherries Red Army videos. We've got Paul Spicer joining us. Good afternoon, all. And Daniel, you three going to the game tomorrow? I think we are. I think all three of us are going to be there. Looking forward to it. And who is Scott Parker going to play for this game then? So it is time for the predicted 11. We don't know who's fit, not fit, but we're going to try and make it up, aren't we, guys? So let's go in to the predicted 11.
Make it up?
Well, of course, you know it all, Steve. So I'm hoping you'll
make
get this
it up.
Right.
We're top pundits. It's all,
Absolutely. Right. We want to get your thoughts in the chat as well. What we've got on the screen is the team that started that previous match against QPR. So we're going to go with Mark Travers in goal. He got back to clean sheet. Still surely got to be the best goalkeeper in the Championship. And Steve, I'm going to come to you first then. So that back four was Jack Stacey, Chris Mepham right of the two centre-backs, Gary Cahill and Jordan Zamora. We expect Zamora to play this game before he potentially goes away for the African Cup of Nations. So a couple of conversations here. We think Lloyd Kelly's isolating due to COVID. Steve Cook seems to have an agreement with manager and club that maybe he's on his way out of AFC Bournemouth. And then we've got the Leif Davis and Robbie Brady conversation. So that back four, are you wanting to do anything with it, or do you think keep it momentum? And let us know in the chat what you think.
No, I think it stays the same personally for me. I think if it is right that this is his last game before the African Cup of Nations, we've got to utilise him. By far our best left back. Seems to me like Leif Davis will be going back to Leeds. I think they're really stricken with COVID cases, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets called back. The Steve Cook conversation, that seems exactly like you said it. He's got some sort of agreement with the club. He doesn't want to get himself injured if he's a potential move away, which, hate to see him go, but that's football, I guess. And I think the one thing I will say about that back four against QPR, I mean, Jack Stacey looked a totally different player than the previous 2 or 3 games. He looked so much more comfortable. And I don't know if that was because Mepham was there. I don't know, but I hope he's turned a corner, because he did have a few shockers and consecutive games. So let's hope he's back to his best, because we definitely need him. And Travs, like you said, whenever we've called upon him, he's been top class. So I wouldn't change that. Like you say, the momentum from the QPR game, press on, and let's go again.
I do apologise, Dan. Some of the comments might cover half your face up. All right, so you might need to lift yourself up from your chair potentially, but I do apologise. Quickly, Steve, if it's not Zamora, would you go with Leif Davis or Robbie Brady?
I probably would go with Brady, to be honest. I don't see the point in Leif Davis now. I think in my mind, I see him going back. I don't see that we're keeping hold of him. So to play someone you're not going to keep hold of, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather integrate Brady into the into the fold and get him, as match fit as we can get him. because I'm sure we'll need him in the coming weeks, especially if that is the case. If Zamora goes and Leif Davis goes, then we need Robbie Brady there. Because, well, unless you're going to do the Lloyd Kelly thing, which Scotty hasn't seemed to have liked to do, so I don't see that he probably will do that. So yeah, I'd go with Brady personally if after Zamora's gone.
And Sammy does say in the chat, even if Kelly available, might not be fully fit. So
No.
have him on the bench. We'll see. Let's move up to that midfield three then. Come to you, Dan, for this one. So Jeff Lerma played that holding one pivot role against QPR. I think it is his best position. It's the position he's probably played his whole career. It's definitely why we brought him in. Problem you've got, though, Dan, is you've got Ben Pearson, who's a very good holding midfielder. Kilkenny was one of our bright sparks in a poor day at Borough. I can't think he didn't get on at QPR. And then Lewis Cook played ahead. Now, I thought Lewis Cook wasn't great playing ahead against Middlesbrough, but he looked more comfortable against QPR. Now, is that because he had Jeff Lerma behind him? Or is it just that Lewis Cook is capable of having those performances? With Billing in there as well, is that the three you'd keep?
I would. I think I would keep all three of them. With the Lewis Cook point, I think it's probably a bit of both. I think that Lerma is so crucial there that he makes everyone else better and everyone else more comfortable in that midfield. It's not that Ben Pearson. We've got so much quality in midfields, which is has been great. We've had a bit of depth there, but it also makes it difficult because players have to miss out. I mean, Marcondes, what's happened to Marcondes? He must be gutted. It is. I think I would stick with that three. You can't drop Billings, being one of our best players, providing everyone's fit. Obviously, Lerma can't be dropped, and Lewis Cook. Yeah, I thought that I really liked the way that we sort of we seemed a lot more relaxed on the ball, the way that we were sort of playing out from the back. I remember a few occasions where maybe we'd usually hoof out the pitch, a nice few passes from Lerma, Stacey, Meps, sort of around the players, Lewis Cook driving with the ball. It was a lot better to see that kind of play. Because that was the biggest thing, last season during that run as well. We seemed so panicky when we got the ball. And we just give it away. So it's nice to see players relaxed and be able to properly reach their potential on the pitch. Lewis Cook, I think he starts for me. There was a couple of occasions where I was really gutted that he made a few mistakes with his passes, but we know the quality that Lewis Cook has. And it's really harsh on Kilkenny because I think pretty much in any other team, he would in the Championship, he maybe other than maybe Fulham or West Brom, he's pretty much a starter every week based on what his performance is. So it is very harsh, but I think Lewis Cook has got to stay in the team and we've got to keep the momentum. So same midfield for me.
Same midfield. Let's move up then to that forward three. You've got Dom Solanke leading the line. Ryan Christie, I thought, was a lot better against QPR, getting into positive areas, playing those slide-through passes where he got us like 4-on-4 on a few occasions. Then we're going to potentially look at Junior Stanislas. He had a really effective game up there as well with the man-of-match performances. Did go down with a shoulder injury. The big question is then, guys, I'll come to you first, Steve. Is it too much for Stanislas? Only just coming back, as I said, first start since August. Does Jaden Anthony play this one, or is it Stanislas?
Yeah, it's a real quandary, isn't it? Because I thought Stan looked really classy against QPR. I thought he brought a lot of calmness to our play, and a lot of he opened them up quite, at will at times with his little through balls. But having said that, Jaden Anthony's got that in his locker again. I mean, we've seen the link-up play with him and Zamora. Some of the little reverse passes that those two put together. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like it is this like weird telepathic thing that both of them have. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a flip of a coin. Personally, I'd be happy with either of them there. But I don't know. Stan's the one who can make something happen with a dead ball. So he's got that little edge on Jaden for me. So I probably would stick with Stanislas, judging on how well it went for him in QPR. If he's fit, that is, because we never know with Stan, do we?
1 minute warning in the chat then. Do you want to go with Stanislas or Jaden Anthony on that left side as we come to Dan? Jaden Anthony, 6 goals this season. Should have had his 7th. He's been pretty effective at home, especially in that unbeaten 15. Who would you go with? And does it come too soon for Stanislas to play back-to-back games?
Yes, I believe so. I think we go Anthony for this one. I mean, I wouldn't. And just for the reason that I think that it is dangerous to play Stanislas 2 games in a row, coming back from injury. We know he is made of glass, unfortunately, and and yeah, I think if Stanislas hadn't been injured, maybe even throughout his career, he might have reached a higher level because he's got so much quality and technically is one of our best players. But I just think that he can always come on later in the game, but I think it is dangerous to play him 2 games in a row. And Anthony has been, I think that he came on against QPR and he made a couple of mistakes early on. I thought, oh, no, he's continuing that sort of terrible game he had at Middlesbrough. I thought it was going to be the same, but he sort of grew into the game and was a lot better towards the end. So I'd like to see him come in, and depending on the game management, I'd probably go Stanislas coming on off the bench, maybe after like 60 minutes, let's say. But obviously, game management, that depends on what's happening. So yeah, I'll leave it to you, Kirk, to decide.
I mean, that's even dependent if we need him to come off the bench, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's very true. Yeah.
You know, it could be a case that we are 2-3 up and we don't need him to come off the bench. So I think, yeah, you got a good point there, Dan.
I would swing with probably going for Anthony. However, I am going to follow the trend in the chat. Sammy's gone with Stanislas. Layla's gone with Stanislas. Chris in with Stan. Daniel's gone Stanislas, helping us with the dead ball and score a free kick. Paul's also going with Stan. So, yeah, I can see both parties. And do you know what? We're going to go with the chat on this one. And that is going to be our locked in predicted 11 for this game. If you weren't able to join us live, just let us know your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you'd play Stanislas or Jaden Anthony in this game. It's coming up now for those score predictions. Steve, Mark says, Sam Davis said Stan delivery is world class. Stan, for me, only had 60 minutes. And Sammy also said that as well. He didn't play the whole game. So, and if Sam says it, then
I mean, he has got it in. He has got it in his locker, hasn't he? You can't debate that. Some of his free kicks we saw, some of his goals in the Premier League. I mean, they were top draw. I mean, the guy nutmegged Harry Maguire, made him look silly against United. He's got that little X factor that we don't have from a lot of our players. Like Dan said, it's just a shame he's been so dogged by injury his whole career, because he probably could have gone on to a higher level. But yeah, we'll see. And
also, as we go into the transfer window, and if we need some players potentially, we're so heavily reliant on certain individuals to score us goals. I mean, Christie's not even got one yet; should have had one. Yeah. But I think this is an area we need to focus on. Is we don't really get a lot of free goals, do we, Dan? We don't get these free kicks, and I mean, I'm trying to think how many penalties we've had this season. But normally, Stan would have them as well.
No, it is definitely. It's that exact exciting feeling you get. I get every single time. We Stan's on the pitch. We've got a free kick, because he and every time you're like, is he going to shoot from there? Nah, I don't think he'll always have a shot, and it'll always be like a decent attempt. He's very, very good at sort of dropping the ball right before the keeper, get it over the wall, and where it's just bouncing before the keeper's diving. Those are so dangerous, and he can strike a dead ball like no other players. I think probably in the best in the Championship, you could argue, definitely the best in our team. And yeah, he's brilliant at that, and that is definitely something that he has over Anthony, like you were saying. And I think that it's a tough one to call, and it's such a shame that he can't play more consistently. But yeah, I mean, but also at the same time, I'll go back to this quite a bit, but I think that would Anthony have necessarily got this chance if it weren't be certain injuries? Same with Jay-Z. I was screaming for Jay-Z last season, but a lot of players have got opportunities because of injuries, and maybe Anthony wouldn't have reached the level that he's got to if it weren't for some players being out. But yeah.
I was just going to say about Stan. I mean, I don't know why, but I was watching the 6-1 against Hull in the Premier League. Yeah, I was watching that yesterday, And Stan took this free kick, and it curled round, and McGregor was, I think it was McGregor was the goalkeeper. He thought it was going wide, and he just went, put his arms up like that. It's gone, and it hits the post. And he's just got such a bit of swerve on it. It's excellent. But I think, again, against a low block side, you might have to rely on a set piece.
Yeah, that's very true.
If we're struggling to break them down. I mean, that's another argument. But yeah, carry on. We've talked enough about Stan, I think.
Well, it's that time for your score predictions. We want to get them in the chat. But first, while you're thinking about that score prediction, this is the second time we're playing Cardiff this season. We got a double over QPR. Can we get a double over Cardiff City? But let's just remind ourselves of that win away at Cardiff earlier in the season, back in September. You put your score predictions in the chat, and you guys think of your score predictions.
Great ball over the top. Jaden Anthony inside the area, round the goalkeeper, square ball. Here's Christie, right side of the box, onto his left foot, shoots! Palmed away by the goalkeeper. Brings it down well, sends it out to Jaden Anthony. Here's Zamora on the underlap to the byline. Dinks one in towards Solanke with the header. It comes off of, back out to Billing with the header over the bar. Right hand side. Adam Smith does well, infield. He's towards the edge of the D now, he's got Billing to his left. Here is Phil Billing. Billing shoots, he finds the bottom corner! Phil Billing from outside the 18-yard area.
There was Billing celebrating in front of Steve Hensman in the away end. And as we go into these score predictions as well, I just want you to make you aware, if you go into the game tomorrow or you're potentially watching it on AFCB TV Live, you can get it on AFCB TV Live, this one. Our key time to score goals is between 41 minutes and 50 minutes. And this is why Steve's only seen half of our goals this season. So as I come to you, Steve, remember this tomorrow before you go down to the concourse. How are you feeling about the game? What's your score prediction?
It's a different kettle of fish tomorrow because I'm not being, I'm not in the company, Mr. Jordan, so I won't be getting led astray at half time for a beer, and I can't even get one in the Ted Mac anyway. So, tomorrow. Do you know what? I'm quite happy with any win, any scrappy win, just to keep the momentum going. But I think we'll be okay tomorrow. I think we'll have more than enough for them, and I'm probably going to go with 2-0 tomorrow.
2-0, and Mark Cole has also gone for that one as
nice
well.
One, Mark.
Layla's gone.
He knows.
3-0. Solanke, Christie, first goal potentially for Bournemouth and a stand free kick, or all the first potentially tomorrow night. Daniel's gone for 2-0. Paul's gone for 3-0. Clean sheets here. Mark Singleton, he's gone for the famous, the Cherries Red Army 3-1. Paul says Christie's got to score soon. Liam's also gone for 2-0. Seems to be a favoured score, that one, Dan. Haven't had the score from Sammy yet. She said she might not put it in the chat because we might know what it is. So, Dan, coming to you. How are you feeling about the game tomorrow and score prediction?
I'm feeling good. I've got a feeling it's gonna. Unfortunately, I've got a feeling. I don't know. I just every time I feel optimistic going into a game and think, oh yeah, we might score a few here. It always ends up a scrappy game. I'm gonna go for a 1-0. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think.
We'll take that.
Exactly. If it's a win, we take it. I think it's going to be a little bit scrappy. It might be a stand free kick off the bench, maybe, or maybe even it starts that breaks the. Actually, no. I think I'm going to go for. I'm going to go. It's a corner. Stands come off the pitch. It's the 78th minute. He whips it in, like it rebounds off a defender's knee.
This is very specific.
Sort of chests it into the post and then rebounds it in. It's going to be a horrible, scrappy goal, and we're going to win 1-0.
If that comes off in a ridiculous build accumulator, I'll buy you a superstore voucher. That's how specific I'll be. Sammy has brought it in now. She says Hart says 3-1, Hez says 2-0. Maybe last game of 2021. We haven't had 3-1 yet. I am really worried about going for clean sheets because when I've gone for clean sheets this season, we've conceded goals, and when I've gone the other way, it's gone the other way. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think it'll be a comfortable 2-1. But yeah, I'm going to go for
I'm just
2-1.
basing that off of what I saw on the other night. I thought we looked really good defensively.
No, it's true.
And if he sticks to that same back four or back five, and we've got Lerma in front, I think we look really solid like that. So yeah.
Paul
Don't
does
worry
say,
about
make
it,
sure
lads. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Paul does say, Steve, make sure Tom doesn't miss any more goals, Steve. So there we go.
I'm not his mother.
Steve, so we'll wrap up this match preview. It's been great to have you all on this live stream. Do make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Try and help us get to 750. We'll really appreciate that. Also, we want to thank our channel supporter members. You've got Mike Irwin, Rich Riemann, Rich Neal, Steve Hensman. He's the kindest man on the planet. He's also in there, Neil Whedon, and Sammy Nell as well. So if you want to become a supporter member, just go to buymeacoffee.com/cherriesredarmy for as little as £5 a month. You don't have to be a monthly supporter member. You can just simply make a donation, but it does really help. It's because a lot of these supporter members that we're able to do these live streams with the platform that we use, but we do appreciate anyone who follow us on Twitter, hits the likes, watches the videos. It's all much appreciated. And we are now on Linktree as well, so you can find all our socials on Linktree. That's in the description. Also, Steve, maybe just another quick shout out as well. Probably put you on the spot here, haven't prepared you, but I know you and Sammy have been putting together a book for David Brooks. And potentially this will be available at the 1910 bar to be signed personally by fans and eventually handed over to him. Do you just want to give us a little bit of an introduction to that?
Yeah, so it was just a little idea we had, which it's just a show of support from the fans, really. It's just basically a photo book we've had made, just sort of pictorial documentation of his career, sort of thing. Loads of space in there for people to write messages and stuff. So yeah, Sammy, and I just want to say a special thank you to Sammy, because she's been absolutely excellent with the organising of this. I mean, it was my idea and she sort of made it happen, really. So kudos to her. And yeah, we'll be up in the 1910 at early doors tomorrow, and people come and just sign it and send best wishes to David.
Fantastic. And we should see Dan at the game tomorrow as well. Thank you, Dan, for coming on here. We're hoping to have you on more shows in 2022. I know you're a busy man, but we're going to try and get you where we can. Thanks for coming on this match preview.
Clear that diary, Dan. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. And Steve, thanks to you as well. Not as busy, but thank you very much.
No, I just sit around doing nothing, really, watching Bournemouth games, and that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you to you, the fans that's joined us this afternoon. If you weren't able to join us live, no problems. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Put your score predictions in there. We read every single one. Bournemouth back to winning ways, smiling faces again. And can we do another double as we try and stay top of the championship going into match day 25? Make sure you stay safe. If you go into the game, drive safe. If you're watching the game, enjoy where you can. We'll see you on the next video from me, Dan and Steve on this match preview. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.